Man, that was a tough one to lose if you're the Bulls. Coming off the second night of a traveling back-to-back, being up by as many as 19 points in the first half, going into the locker room with the halftime lead at 16, a game that I think most of us would have expected the Bulls to lose against a top team in the East after playing last night, Milwaukee, and this was one within their grasp, a very winnable game all the way down to the wire. The Bulls just could not execute down the stretch in those final 2 minutes, got some good looks at the basket, but could not finish. And then on the other end, letting Donovan Mitchell take over the game, going inside and finishing through contact to give the Cavs the lead at the very end. The Bulls would not score from that point on in the final minute, and the rest is history. I'll probably make this one a bit short as this was a disappointing loss. The Bulls' first back-to-back loss on the season, and while I'll hit on some of the things that really put the Bulls in a bad spot, what I will say though, and I tweeted this during the game, during the first half anyway, regardless of some of the Bulls' mistakes, some of the weaknesses, areas they need to improve upon, what's been consistent throughout these first 9 games of the season is the Bulls' compete level. Their energy has always remained. And while that third quarter is really what did a number on the Bulls and allowing the Cavs to get back into the game so quickly and getting outscored 40-26 in that period, the Bulls were still able to settle things down, regain their focus, and still take this one to the wire. They still played their game. They still kept up the pace, the energy, the ball movement. As long as they're able to maintain that throughout the season, maintain this identity and not lose sight of that, they're going to be able to compete with the best of them. Now, I will say the Cavs in that first half, especially in the second quarter, they shot the ball horribly to the point where you knew that was not going to be sustainable for the whole game. And it's a big reason why the Bulls were able to take such a big lead going into halftime. Of course, the Cavs bounced back and started shooting it lights out in the second half. So while you could say, well, how could the Bulls blow a big lead like that when they were playing so well in the first half? Well, the Cavs were never going to shoot sub 20% from 3 for the whole game. Eventually, those shots were going to start falling. What's crazy is the Bulls, they continue to shoot the 3 ball very well despite not taking that many threes. Tonight, 13 for 29 from deep. They got to the free throw line 36 times and were 91% from the line, a season high in free throw attempts and makes. But where the Bulls lost was on the possession battle yet again. Last night, the Bucks got 13 more shots up than the Bulls did. Tonight, the Cavs got up 10 more. I've said it so many times. I know I sound like a broken record on this, but it's very difficult to win games when your opponent is getting 10 to 15 more field goal attempts than you are. At that point, it just becomes a math problem because you have to be very efficient to score more points than your opponent does if you're taking 10 to 15 less shots than they are throughout the game. Now, to the Bulls' credit, they were able to get the foul line more, which helps in that regard, but it still was not enough. Bulls took care of the ball well, outside of that first quarter anyway, when they had 7 turnovers in the frame alone, but turnovers and the amount of points they conceded off those turnovers killed them, and then of course, second chance points towards the end of the game, giving up way too many offensive rebounds, although give the Bulls credit, they did outwork the Cavs on the glass in general for a lineup the Bulls have struggled against with double bigs and Mobley and Allen. They out-rebounded them 49-39, and give Jalen Smith a ton of credit for that, for his hustle and hard work on the floor. I'm actually surprised Billy Donovan didn't decide to go with Jalen Smith in closing this game out, as he had a much better game than Nikola Vucevic did going against Mobley and Allen. 18 points, was a perfect 6 for 6 from the floor, 4 for 4 from 3, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. I like the way Donovan has coached this team thus far, but that was a mistake to not go with Jalen Smith given the kind of game he was having and how much Vucevic was struggling. The Bulls actually got great production from their bench in general, as we've seen all season long. Ayo was great. Feel like he probably should have closed out the game as well. Tre Jones, yeah, he had a great game when it came to his aggressiveness and getting downhill and getting to the free throw line, but also struggled with his shot. And Ayo's size and ability to get downhill was missed in those final 2 minutes. Great minutes from Kevin Huerter off the bench as well. 15 points, 6 for 10 from the field, 3 steals. Pat was decent, hit some big threes. The Bulls just didn't get it from their starters tonight. Although Okoro had a solid game in his return to Cleveland with a season-high 19 points, 4 rebounds and 3 assists, and was active and aggressive on the defensive end as he always is. But Modest, Vucevic, and Josh Giddey, not their best games. Modest really struggled, made quite a few mistakes on the defensive end. Billy Donovan had to pull him out a few times for some mental lapses and didn't have him closing out the game and opted to have Kevin Huerter play in his place. Only 18 minutes for Modest and just 4 points on 1 for 6 shooting and 3 turnovers. These are learning opportunities. Like, as much as we like to hype up Modest, we know he still has a lot to learn as a second-year player. He has to be better at recognizing switches and mismatches on defense and not committing fouls when he's getting taken to the rack. But look, it'll come with time. I will say, I almost had a heart attack when Josh Giddey got his ankles broken, quite literally got his ankles broken, when he got shook by DeAndre Hunter, I believe it was, and he started limping back to the locker room. There was no way the basketball gods were going to do that to me. Lose yet another point guard that was just starting to take off and having a great season. But luckily, Giddey shook it off, came back into the game. Now, who knows if that ankle was still bothering him, because towards the end of it, Giddey's struggle was forcing too much, trying to do too much, not taking the best shots, not finishing drives to the basket. It was not the typical calm and collected Josh Giddey in the final minutes of the game, who has done so well for the Bulls in the clutch. Josh, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals and a block, but was 5 for 18 shooting from the floor and a -12 when he was on the court. His offense just wasn't flowing as well as we're used to seeing, and he just didn't move that well at times, didn't look as fluid with the ball as we've seen in past games. And look, I mean, it's pretty clear the Bulls really miss Coby White's offense, especially in a game like this where they're looking for that clutch scorer to finish out the game. You need someone like Coby to get you some easy buckets when you're already up 5 with 2 minutes left to go. The Bulls just could not generate good looks in those final 2 minutes, and a player like Coby White is going to take over on the scoring front to secure a win in a close game. So anyway, a game I'm sure the Bulls would like to have back if they could, when they had a substantial lead in the first half and also up 5 with 2 minutes to go, momentum on their side. But let's hope they bounce back, learn from this, go back home, come back home to take on Wemby and the Spurs before heading out west. It'll be nice when this tough stretch of games is over and the Bulls have Coby White back. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this game. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.